Concerning Venezuela is put out another paragraph, another page, typed another page on the Empire's pro coup d'etat against Venezuela. An actual coup. Hashtag stop all the coups video. So, check out that video. Now, concerning Venezuela, he said 2 points. He said, number 2, some kind of sonar or something to shut down their electricity. Yeah, they had electricity problems. He's trying to say they had electricity problems back in the Chavez regime, back when Hugo Chavez was getting coup d'etat by the United States government. They had electric problems back then when the U.S. was coup d'etat. I bet you, I wonder if the U.S. government has something to do with that. I mean, I think Venezuela was sitting on a shit ton of oil back then, and they were still socialists, too. Yep, you just can't have an economic system. You cannot have another nation on this side of the hemisphere that has a different economic system than the United States of America. You're not allowed to have it. Now, that was his 1 point, right? So, okay, they've had electric problems ever since they've been having to deal with the empire, which is what, since the inception. And then he says, number 4, they must be way far ahead of the curve because of that Petro crypto. And actually, their Petro crypto is impressive. The United States government doesn't have a digital currency, and yet 90% of all of our money is on, is digitized anyways. So it wouldn't be that hard. It would be smarter. It would be easier to trade around the world. So the Petro, what does Wikipedia got to say about the Petro? So there's a lot of things. Let's see. I got some notes here. Apparently the Petro is the currency in Venezuela, and they say the center of it is peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchanges. Peer-to-peer, meaning that you know the person who does Bitcoin, and you do Bitcoin, and that's it. Just you two know what's going on, and that's the very crux. That's the very center. There's some, let's see, local Bitcoins, Paxful. These are like exchanges, and there's a whole bunch of factors. There's a whole bunch of factors about why the Venezuelan people are picking up the Petro at a greater, rate than the rest of the world. There's migration, there's risk of government seizure, there's capital controls, there's demand for hard cash, and then there's greater exposure to the Petro. So they're getting used to the digital currency. Nobody in America, I mean, there's people that are doing investing and whatnot. The hardcore investors know about Bitcoin. I'd say your average American don't know jack shit about Bitcoin. So the average Venezuelan knows about the Petro, which helps get the Petro in circulation. So that's, some information about the Petro. Is it working well? Is it not working well? I don't know, but it seems like, to me, if any government would back a digital currency with the backing of, their government or whatever, so that would make digital currency actual currency. That's all you need is just a government backing. That changes, a piece of paper to a piece of paper created by the government. So the Petro, or Petro Moneda, launched February 2018, cryptocurrency issued by the government of Venezuela. As of August 2018, it does not appear to be used as a currency. Announced in 2017, backed by the country's oil and mineral reserves. So the Petro is aptly named because one Petro will get you, 1 gallon of oil in Venezuela. So it's actually tied to, what's the economic term where something tangible, where you tie the money to, it's backed by gold or silver. It's hard money. So that means this cryptocurrency it's hard money, which means it's more legit than fiat currency, i.e. the greenback U.S. dollar. So the Petro will get you a gallon of oil. The U.S. dollar will only get you what somebody else thinks it's worth. So it's intended to supplement Venezuela's plummeting Bolivar Fuerte, the strong Bolivar currency, as a means of circumventing U.S. sanctions and accessing international financing. August 20th, 2018, the Bolivar Soberano, the sovereign Bolivar, was introduced with the government stating it would be linked to the Petro coin value. So good for Venezuela. I mean, the empire is making it hell for Venezuela, and so Venezuela is having to get creative and embrace technology and, get into the 21st century. Meanwhile, while the empire is still fighting with bombs and tanks like they was doing 100 years ago. It's like, Jesus, empire, why don't you grow up? So anyways, that's my response to concerning Venezuela. Mr. YouTube Man called Concerning Venezuela, and a little bit about the Petro that Venezuela is using. Peace!